Okay. Hello and welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel. My name is Harsh Singh. In this video, we will discuss the feature news for today, that is 19th of January 2022. Today's feature news is on one of the most anticipated reports. We all have been expecting this to be discussed, India's State of Forest Report 2021. Right. So before we begin this discussion, let me quickly welcome the regulars. Hi Amlan, good evening Netra, hi Kriti, hi Ashmita, hi Ashish, hello Hima. Good evening to all of you, and there are other people who are joining, who are participating, and good evening to as well. Hi Babani. Amlan says forest and development are two sides of a coin. At what extent is it possible to maintain in near future? We have to maintain this. Hi Ravi, good evening to you as well. Good evening to all the other people who are silent and yet watching, and people who will join later. Hi Sam, good evening to you as well. Right. So Amlan says forest and development कैसे synchronize करें दोनों को? Let's quickly understand some data, some report, right, some analysis, and then we will deal with this dichotomy as well: forest conservation or development. Hi Ayush, hi Anu, good evening, welcome, thank you. Great that you are also indulging and participating. Let's make it more participative. So this report has been released, and this is a biennial report. दो बार आता है ये report. I'm sorry, 2 साल में एक बार आता है रिपोर्ट, 2 साल में एक बार आता है. Last one was 2019, and India is one of the few countries. The introduction to this report said India is only one of the few countries in the world which is releasing a report of the forest consistently, and India has been doing since 1987. This is the 17th report, and it talks about not only the state of forest in the country, it talks about the issue of climate change. It also talks about climate change. It talks about forest vulnerability to forest fires. It talks about the carbon reserves. It talks about bamboo. It talks about tiger conservation and tiger, those places from where the forests are connected, right? So many of the extra things have been also put in this particular report, and that is why this becomes an integrated report, right? So a survey carried out with the help of satellites, we will understand the important inputs of this report. This is a very long report. Many of the reports that we study are 150, 250, 400 pages. There are many components to it, but we will understand the important themes which we can derive for multiple purposes. All right. And also for understanding India's state of forest. All right. Good evening, Khushi. Good evening. Welcome back, all of you. Hi, Ayush. Jai Hind to you. Great. So let us quickly understand this report. Before we understand, let me explain to you some important terminology so that it becomes very easy for you to understand and grasp, right? All right, let me show you what happened in the forest report here. Firstly, we have something called as the classification of forest, right? Forests are classified on the basis of how dense they are or how light the density of forest is. Give good example of this is the canopy density. Canopy समझते हैं आप? Canopy. Canopy is the kind of cover, chhatri, cover of the trees. So if the density is high, that means the canopy density is high. How do they find out if the density is high? They find it out when there is a satellite, high resolution satellite, and it is right atop the forest in India. And if the shadow is not reaching the earth, that means, this canopy density is high. Right. So based on the density, canopy density, there are 3 kinds of forest which are classified. One is open forest, then moderately dense and very dense forest. Okay. A quick revision for some of you who know this part. Good evening, Naval. Good evening to you. Yes, 10%. So open forests are the one which have 10 to 40% forest cover. Forest canopy density. ऊपर से अगर satellite resolution से check करें, so 10 to 40% of the coverage of the area. Moderately dense forests are 40 to 70%, and very dense forests have 70% plus canopy density. ठीक है? This must be understood by you all the time. All right, canopy, CANOPY. All right. So this is one segment of it. Now, would you not want to know कि India में what is the quality of forest? If it is very dense, that means the quality of forest is very good. If it is moderately dense, it is fine. If it is open forest, मतलब it is very, few trees are there in that particular forest. Now, you should be able to know from these data here that very dense forest in India is actually less. So total area of India में 3% is only very dense. Total area of India, not total forest area. 3% is very dense, and then we have around 9% and 9% as moderately dense and open forest. 9, 18, 19, 20, 21 and closer to 22. So India's present level of total forest cover more than 10%, 10% plus of canopy area throughout all the places is close to 22%. Okay, rest of it is other things. We will cover this, right? So this is one thing for you to know. That means the quality of forest that we have is not very strong. Very dense forests are few. We have open forest 9% and moderately dense forest as 9% plus. Now a quick analysis of the report as well. Very dense forests have increased marginally, open forests have increased marginally, moderately dense forest में थोड़ा सा fluctuation है. So since the last 2 years we have had only 0.22% increase in the forest level in India, only 0.22. So this is still around 22% only. That's the point. And the idea has been to make it 33%. This has been the aim of our country, to conserve 33% of the forest completely. All right. So presently we have 22%. Some of the speculators, people who are optimistic, they say 50% of the whole earth should be conserved. India has given itself the first target of 33%. All right. धीरे धीरे बढ़ रहा है. So this is one. This is called as the forest cover. But there is something called as tree cover also. What is tree cover? Now see, there are three things to understand here. Forest cover, please understand this part. ये pre में आ जाएगा question आपके, right? Forest cover, tree cover, and the third one is shrubs, scrub. So there is a particular definition for each of them. If in an area of 1 hectare plus, whether it is a reserved forest area, whether it is a socially forested area, if it is 1 hectare plus, right, it will be covered under the forest cover, right? Open forest, moderately or very dense, right? Now, in case of tree cover, the area has to be less than 1 hectare in the non-reserved forest area. Non-reserved forest मतलब reserved forest, restricted forest, या फिर those forests where there is special permission required to enter, they are protected forest, right? तो ये सब government state controlled forest है. So in these areas or the open areas, any areas, if the area is more than 1 hectare, it will be covered in the forest cover. If it is a non-restricted forest, non-protected forest, then if the area is less than 1 hectare, it will be covered in tree cover. ठीक है, छोटा एरिया है, social area where we have cultivated some trees, in society area where people can venture out, it will be tree cover. But if the forest, अब एक part बच जाता है इसमें, right? If the area canopy density is less than 10% in forested areas, that was not covered here, no? That was not covered here. And canopy density less than 10% in social areas were covered in tree cover. So less than 3% in the restricted forest areas, this will be scrubs. Matlab, these are degraded forests. You understood my point? I hope that you have understood. If you have not understood, please ask. I will explain again. Right? So scrub is a denominator, or it is an indicator of the degraded forest, which is around 1.2%, 1.4% in our country. So if you add the total number of scrubs, if you add the non-forested area, and if you add the total forest cover, this will become 100. Right? Because non-forested mein we have included the tree cover also, tree cover in non-forested area, and then there are scrubs, and then there are total forest cover. If you add 21.71 plus 1.42 plus 76.87, this should amount to 100. You got this, all of you? So this becomes very important. The net increase in forest in India is around 0.28%, right? Including the tree cover and forest cover, right? So this is where I have taken the definitions from the forest report itself, right? What is a tree? So अब पूछ देंगे pre का question भाई, what is a tree? So tree is ideally that entity, that entity, large woody perennial plant which has diameter at breast height, this height, diameter at breast height of 10 centimeter or more. That means what is the keyword? DBH. Diameter at breast height, that means at the level of chest. This is the height of around 4.5 feet. 4.5 feet is what is taken at diameter at breast. So diameter should be more than 10 centimeter. If it is so, it will be called as a tree. See, very, very important keyword here. So this is one thing to know. The tree cover as I explained is patches less than size of 1 hectare in non-forested areas, in non-reserve forest areas, right? Similarly, a couple of more keywords. Forest cover, as I mentioned, is greater than 1 hectare in the reserve forest areas or otherwise all other areas. And scrub is degraded forest having canopy density less than 10%. Forest land, samajh gaye? Pakka? So Naval says, tell about state-wise. State-wise, when we start to cover state-wise, there are so many states and union territories that we will get lost. So we will understand a broader analysis of the states jahan par badha hai, jahan par ghata hai. All right, Naval. Other people, have you understood this concept? Because this is the most critical part of understanding. So when the forest report spoke, it spoke of the RCP, representative concentration pathways. A keyword hai ye. This was used in IPCC 5th report, right, 2014. So representative concentration pathways means if carbon increases in the atmosphere, what are the things that it will lead to? It will lead to greater destruction of the ecosystem. So this report has presented two RCPs, one RCP 4.5, one RCP 8.5. Both of them are indicating of the future ecosystem biodiversity of Earth in case there is temperature rise of or pollution rise of certain parameters or certain higher parameters. If the higher issues are there, it will lead to greater forest destruction. If lower issues are there, it will lead to lower forest destruction. And our model used in forest report, it has spoken on both of them, RCP 8.5, RCP 4.5. Agar kam destruction hoga, what will lead to in Indian forest? Like if it leads to more destruction, what will it lead to? We will study that, right? Okay. So this is RCP parameters. We will explain this some other time. So great Kriti, if you have understood, Ashish, Ashmita, Amlan, Anu, great. You have understood once and for all, ye ho jayega. You have understood, that means what is the meaning of tree cover, forest cover and degraded forest, that is also called as scrubs. All right. So good. Now the analysis which some of you were asking for. The top 5 states in terms of increase in forest cover: Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, South Indian state, Odisha, Karnataka and Jharkhand. These are the places where there has been an increase in forest cover. See, I'm not talking of the percentage increase, but the total increase in forest cover. This is one. Southern states largely, right? What about the northeast states? We will cover that quickly. Forest cover in the hill districts, where the hill districts have 40% of the total area as forest cover. What has happened to them, right? It shows a decrease in the area. So all the hill districts in the country, it has shown a decrease. There are 140 hill districts out of around 650 districts in the country, and they have shown a decrease in the area. Hill districts are largely those places where there is tribal inhabitation, you see, and there has been a decrease in the area. Now moving to the tribal areas in specific. Their tribal don't only reside in hills, they reside in forested areas, island areas, isolated areas. So in tribal areas, around 37% of the complete land is forested. What has happened here? Let us quickly look at that. See, there has been a decrease of the forest cover here also. What is the analysis? There has been a decrease in forest cover in one, tribal areas, and second, hilly areas. South Indian states, some rise, right? So two analysis here. Yes, I will explain to you. Preeti, about RCP after this analysis. Amran says, sir, does commercial tree like rubber is also calculated under forest cover, which is not eco-friendly? All right. Commercial cultivation and non-commercial cultivation. One good example is that of bamboo. Bamboo is a commercial plant, right? It can be utilized for various activities by tribals. They can create entities, godowns, goods out of it. So bamboo was lately placed in 2017, bamboo in forested areas. Please remember, forested areas, it is still counted as tree, but in non-forested areas, in areas of plantation, it will be not counted as tree, and hence it can be commercially commercially exploited. Commercial exploitation of bamboo is possible. This is a good example. Rubber is another example that you're presenting. So we can exploit them. The two ideas here are to ensure that forests be protected. So bamboo will be protected in the forest area. And the other idea is to ensure that the economy be utilized, right? So for the growth of the people, tribals, agriculturalists, right? Plantation crop people. So these are the twin objectives under which we see plants like bamboo and rubber. All right. Okay, moving ahead to the third one, northeast region. Again, the same thing. Northeast cover of forest is close to 65%. But what do you see here again? Right? Country shows a decrease. See? So this is another thing. When you are able to draw a map of the whole country, a schematic of the map or a map itself, you can talk about the tribal pockets, central India, northeast India, some parts in southern India, or some islands. Largely you can say that there has been a decrease in tribal pockets in northeast India, in hill area districts, right? Hill areas. So this is how you can denote how it has decreased over the last 2 years, right? Important thing to understand. In mangrove as well. See, mangroves are important plantation in South Asia. India has almost 50% of mangrove plantation, one of the most biodiverse rich regions. And here a slight increase is being observed. All right. What about fire proneness? Dekho, fire proneness is very important part of forest understanding, right? So fire proneness of the country is really high, right? The highly to extremely fire prone, around 23% of our forests are highly to extremely fire proneness. So we should also understand what are the measures which should be adopted for reducing the fire proneness. So we can have, suppose this is complete forested area, there should be some barriers, right? Few meters of barriers so that there is a disassociation between different forest fragments. This is one way, right? And then another way is a clearing of the dried leaves. So what happened during COVID times, last year, 2020, there were more forest fires. It was because the regular cleaning of the dried leaves, it was not happening because people were at their homes because of lockdown. The forest department was not working, because of which the dry leaves, they would rub against each other and it would cause massive fire at various places. All right. So fire proneness of the country would increase because of this, right? So how are they calculated? See, the mapping is done in the grids of 5 to 5 kilometer. 5 to 5 kilometer whole mapping of the country is done, and 23% of India is highly to extremely fire prone. Okay. And another one, this is where we talk of the climate issues, right? So RCP, abhi Kriti ne pucha na, what is it? So yes, trees throughout the country are covered here, right? All that satellite could capture has been covered, right? There are other reports earlier when satellite was not being used at many places which were inhospitable, places where there is more of left-wing extremism or unreachable terrain. There it was tough to carry out surveys. For example, right now the census of the tigers, that is also not complete every time, or elephants, because of inhospitable terrain. But if we have this satellite imaging, because of this, the complete mapping of the whole country is done. And that is why we will talk about what has happened to many places. So when we spoke of RCP, right? RCP, let me quickly explain what is RCP so that we move ahead after this. All right. In this image, you see, if the emissions are high in the whole world, there will be more repercussions, there will be rise in temperature, there will be reduction in forest cover, there will be more forest fires, there will be issue with the climate of the whole country. Now this is the status where we can understand if less climate change happens, what will happen? If more climate change happens, what will happen? So IPCC report 5, this is the report 6 जो अभी आया है, उसका पहला part आया है. Report 5 which came, it introduced the word representative concentration pathways. So it says that if we have less climate change happening, then adaptation measures will be required, which will be less. If more climate change is happening, then adaptation measures required will be high. See, so more of emissions are happening, increase in extreme weather phenomena are happening, rise in sea level is more if RCP is more. Representative concentration pathways. Okay, this is it. So what this forest survey mapping has done is that it has mapped, in case RCP 4.5 happens or in case extreme of climate change happens and RCP 8.5 happens. It talks of both these cases and tells what is going to happen in our country in future. All right, this is what I want to explain. Hope you have understood this time. If not, please ask again, we will talk about it. See, so RCP 8.5, in this is the case in which emissions will be very high. We have mapped RCP 4.5 and 8.5 with respect to the forest survey, right? So what is the conclusion? We will quickly understand here. The conclusion says that during the period 2030, 2050 and 2085, note karna Naval, note karna, this is what you wanted, right? It has been observed that high altitude areas or the hilly areas, Ladakh, Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, these are the places where we will see highest temperature rise. Highest temperature rise. Why? Because these are the Himalayan areas and their temperature was low. So there will be higher rise in temperature. Whereas places which are located closer to the marine areas, there will be lesser temperature rise. What are the places? Andaman Nicobar, West Bengal, Goa, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh. Look at the other aspect of it. Higher temperature rise in northern parts and lower temperature rise in submarine areas. Along with that, if you see the rainfall parameters, this report itself says that there will be lesser rainfall in these high altitude areas, in areas of Himalayan terrain. Northeast states and upper Malabar coast are going to experience some highest increase in rainfall, whereas northeastern states, Arunachal Pradesh, northwestern parts of India, Ladakh, Jammu Kashmir will have lower rainfall. Point being, if you draw this map of India, right, so the higher part will have more climate adversities. Why? Because climate change, the weather temperature rise will be high, rainfall will be less, and because these are Himalayan rivers, we will have more flooding because of time, right? So you can see the impact in the northern India, which is going to be felt far more. And then we have in southern India more rainfall at certain places and lesser temperature rise. Samajh gaye? I hope you have understood this conclusion from the report. I have taken it directly from the report here, right? So these are some quick analysis of the report. Getting back to some of the content of the feature news here, right? We have explained the key terms here. We have explained the classification of forest again here. What is the forest area? What is the tree cover? And what are the shrubs, right? So a quick analysis of area-wise forest distribution in the country. Kriti, Naval, I hope you guys understood. Other people, hope you guys understood. If you like the effort, remember, blessing showers. All right. So area-wise forest distribution. What you were asking for, some of you. Madhya Pradesh has the largest forest area cover, followed by Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha and Maharashtra. See, a state like Arunachal Pradesh is full of forest, right? So 70-80% area, more than this, is the forest cover in Arunachal Pradesh. But Madhya Pradesh has the largest forest area cover. So this is another good understanding that you have got, right? Now, total geographical area of some states, Northeast, Mizoram, Arunachal, Meghalaya, Manipur, Nagaland, all of them above 70% total area. So tribal areas, yes. Forested areas, yes. Then we have hilly areas, all of them, and all of them have felt the receding of forest slight. This should not have happened, right? Then see, it says many of the states have got above 33% of geographical area of forest. 17 states UTs, but these are small ones. बड़े वाले में नहीं है ये. बड़े वाले में होता तो above average would not have been 22%. It would have been more than 33%, right? So fewer states have it. Many other states have to focus on this. See, it says Northeast states have 65% area, but yet their forest cover has receded. So good assessment, right? ऐसे analyze करना है. State wise करोगे तो बहुत tough होगा remember करने में data. All right. This is one thing. And what else is important here is yes, the gain in forest density in the highly dense forest and the lightly dense forest that is there, right? I have explained this part of hill districts. I have explained the part in which we are talking of maximum area. The states having tree cover. Ab tree cover aa gaya na? So one is forest cover, that means in reserve forest area. Tree cover is not inside the forest cover area. So there are states in which tree cover is also good, right? Maharashtra is first, and then Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. These are the trees in non-forested areas, less than 1 hectare. right? So social forestry aa gaya, community forestry, people who have planted forest, trees outside their home, this will be covered here. All right, samajh rahe ho na? So which state follows first? Tree cover, Maharashtra, and then Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh. Itna yaad rakho, you are done, right? Same for Chandigarh in UTs. All right. Mangrove has been a very slight increase in mangrove forest in the country. Bamboo I explained, right? And then carbon stock, see, India has a total carbon stock which is only increasing because of the increase in forest cover, right? So this is an update from here. Fire proneness I've just explained, and climate hotspots again explained here. All right, so this is it. And the forest cover under tiger reserves has slightly decreased, slightly, क्योंकि tiger reserve कहीं create होता है, कहीं पर wildlife sanctuary से it is cut out, all that happens, right? So you can see this is how the tree cover and forest cover in our country has increased over time. Is it not good? It shows very good parameters. So this is the forest cover increase, and this is the tree cover which has increased. Less than 1 hectare tree cover in non-reserved forest areas, and in all the areas, reserve forest, right, protected forest, or other areas greater than 1 hectare. This is what is indicated with forest cover. All right, good. Okay, so this is one important part here. We have explained northeast part and the loss in forest, right? And this is how we understand the conclusion of this forest report, right? This is a very big report. We will keep covering some aspects of it one by one, but largely if you want to understand, this is what it is, right? So Ayush Pandit says, sir, 33% of target kis year ka hai? This was declared in one of the plans. I think this was a part of the 10th plan that we wanted to create this in the mid-term, long-term. This was not, I'm not sure if they had determined what is the deadline by which we should have achieved this, but it is a long way to increase this. You should also look at the land use in India in this way, right? So when we have 23% forest, we have 42% of agricultural India, right? So what is left? We have 3% of grasslands, and then what is left? Then we have some industrial areas or the city areas, urban areas. Then we also have places which are fallowed lands, 8% of fallowed lands. So this is how you should be able to cover complete 100%. Right now, beyond the scope of this discussion, but we will cover this also, right? Land use in India. Okay, so what have we covered today? We have covered what is the meaning of certain concepts in the forest report. We understood what is the meaning of a tree. Remember, the diameter at the breast level should be 10 centimeter, right? This is the meaning of tree. We also understood what is forest area, what is tree cover, what is forest cover. Along with that, we also understood what is the meaning of shrubs. Along with that, we understood the kind of distinctions in various sub-reports in the forest survey, right? So mangrove, bamboo, tiger, and then we have various other components like carbon cover or climate change, along with the forest indicators. So various things covered by the same report. We also understood the cover in the distinction of forest as compared to with respect to its canopy density. So distinction in tree and forest, distinctions in forest, and we understood the the quality of forest through this. We also later understood what are the various reports of the tribal areas, the hill areas. We understood what is happening in northeast states, the states with the highest increase in forest, and also the states with the highest tree cover. We understood that. We also understood the concept of RCP. Along with that, how it is going to impact in the coming times certain places where there will be more rainfall or less rainfall, on places where there will be high climate or high temperature and less temperature rise, right? So this largely will make you understand not only forest but climate change in future. The question for today is, the India State of Forest 2021 report reflects significant improvement in forest cover in India, but it is accompanied with some serious concerns. ठीक है? So you tell about the significant improvements. Where have the improvements happened? Some South Indian states. Some marginal improvements in the quality of the very dense forest or the less dense forest. And you also talk about the better improvements for imaging of satellites, right? The coverage of these variety of components, bamboo and mangrove, which has improved slightly, and then accompanied with serious concerns are quite a few, right? So we are going in the positive direction, but very far from where we have to reach, right? So Naval says, sir, what can be short point to compare previous report and then this report in mains answer writing? Okay, good one. So when you compare the previous report to this one, there has been a very marginal rise in the forest and tree cover. It is 0.26%, very marginal rise. So this is one very marginal improvement. This should have been far better. The second one that you could write is why is there a decrease in the quality of forest when we or the forest cover when we talk of tribal areas, hilly areas, northeastern states? Why is it so? This is the second analysis for you. The third analysis could be a part where we are talking of diversity of reports within the same report. Diversity of reports. So this makes the whole report more holistic, right? So these are three important things that I would suggest that you could definitely include. And then fourth analysis could be on the quality of forest, overall quality of forest in India, which is still low. We have only 3% very dense forest, 9% moderately dense, and 9% open forest. Why so? We should have good quality of forest. So this means, see, if resources are left away from human beings, they will naturally get regenerated. So we need to leave the forest alone, right? We do not need to start creating ways through which we could utilize forest resources. Leave them alone and they will rejuvenate themselves in a few years of time. Quality of forest will automatically get upgraded, right? So this is where India had also planned that India will increase the proportion of reserve forest in the country. Reserve forest proportion in the country is not very high, and we have to increase it further. And if we increase it further, they will be left aloof and they will rejuvenate themselves. So these four conclusions could form your part, right? Naval, Biswarup Behuria says, really helpful session. Biswaranjan, why don't you participate in all the sessions? We start the current affairs, the first session at 6 p.m. right in the evening, Monday to Friday, and then we have this one, the featured news, immediately after, right? Both I take, and there are many regular people who are participants here. Bhavani, welcome. Ashmita, welcome. Kriti says, first time Tiger Reserve Forest Cover Survey. All right. Naval, all right. So thank you very much. If you like this video, do share some love through likes, comments and shares. You have doubts, questions, or you want to share something, please do that. We will get back to you on messages. And also please prepare notes. When you prepare notes, you are certain that you know the forest survey or report, right? When you prepare notes, you know about what is happening around the world day wise, and every Saturday you revise them, right? So how do you remember? You apply the technique of ADEC, right? Data points, keywords, analysis, and then we have case studies and some keywords, right? So these are the 5 things that you need to remember, along with which you will be able to create notes for this. Don't write stories. And this is how I conclude this session. Thank you. Prelims में आएगा ना, आप इतना एग्जाम देते हो, कहीं ना कहीं तो आएगा ही आएगा, आशीष, right? So good night all of you, and I will see you tomorrow evening for the beautiful discussion tomorrow evening again. All right, so thank you for participating. Good night. Good night, Himan, Naval, Amlan, Netra, Jyotish, Ashish, Kriti, Bhavani, Anu, Bikash. Yes, why not? Yes, Bibhu, as I mentioned, in Odisha it has slightly increased. All right, so yes, please have a look at this. Please keep participating in the videos. There will be a lot of other things that you will be able to understand for your exam. Good night, Ravi. Thank you. Good night. Sir, what is ADEC? Oh, Ashmita, ADEC. So ADEC, as I've explained earlier, I will recommend some videos for you to watch on current affairs. ADEC is analysis, data points, examples, case studies and keywords. These are the 5 keys that you should look at any article when you study for UPSC articles. So analysis, quick analysis, matlab 2-3 words mein you should know, Ashmita, this is what is the analysis of this report. We presented quite a few analysis of this report, no? This is the analysis. Data points, for example, 3% very dense forest, 9% moderately dense, 9% open forest. You should have this data. Only this data. Puri kahani nahi likhni. Don't write the sentence. Only this data. Then we have examples of northeast area, hilly areas, examples of places with tribes where the forest cover is decreasing. Some cases, right? So cases of Odisha, where forest tribe people won against the giants, mineral exploration giants. So this is a good case from Odisha, right? Cases where people were evicted. Those are the cases that you will bring forward to, right? Then some certain keywords like forest cover, like RCP. So these are the keywords that you could use. Keywords will help the examiner understand that you know things exactly how they are. Analysis will be the deeper understanding of it, and every article you should have these 5 things. Only these 5 things. Don't write the complete story in 2-3 pages. Just have these points for every article. Zaruri nahi hai ki yes, Niamgiri. Yes, Ashmita, Niamgiri Hills only. And what was the company's name? What was the name of that company? Vedanta. Okay. So bauxite mining. Now, and zaruri nahi hai ki what we study every day, usme all of them will be covered. But the point is, when you create one article on this, and you have certain data or example there, slowly and steadily in that article only you will add some analysis later. But at least start off. So we keep covering one by one many of the articles. 13-14 articles तो हम लोग daily cover कर लेते हैं, है ना? So this is how we will be able to cover thousands of them within a year, provided you revise them within time. And if you do revise, and then you will see that difference within a month. And I assure you that many of us have already started seeing that change. Many of us, I've seen this in comment section only. There are 15 of you who are doing a marvelous job, and please keep it up. This is like a practice session for answer writing, and this is how we will see the light at the end of this tunnel. All right. So thank you for participating. Good night. I will see you tomorrow. Good night.